the food that we eat. They make the production of at least 90 crops in North America annually. Also, the US Department states that they are responsible for $20 billion worth of crops each year. That's just counting honeybees, not other pollinators. Our future depends on these little fluffy pollinators. Without them, we wouldn't exist. Honeybees are golden yellow with brown stripes. They're kind of fuzzy. Also, they have pollen baskets, which are on the back of their legs, so they can bring pollen back to the hive. It's pretty cute. Also, we have non-native honeybees, like the European honeybee, common variety, which can be wild or domestic in hives. They're known as orchard bees due to them being used for apple and fruit pollination. They're rarely aggressive unless you attack the hive, or AKA the queen bee, because pheromones are released within the bees and other ones pick up on it, and then they attack. Orchard mason bees have a dark metallic blue body. They're often mistaken for flies. They're solitary, meaning they don't live in colonies. Also, they don't make honey or beeswax. They rarely sting due to not having a hive culture like honeybees do. They won't lift a finger to save another solitary bee. They basically roll solo. One orchard bee can do the work of 100 honeybees. It's incredible. They efficiently visit around 1,800 flowers a day with a pollination rate of 99%. A comparison is a honeybee visits roughly 700 flowers a day and pollinates about 5% of them. Mason bees are mostly active in the early spring. Other bees become active during the summer, so they do a lot of the heavy lifting. Also, due to them being solitary bees, they never developed protective behaviors. Therefore, male mason bees don't have stingers. Bees are larger, rounder, and fuzzier. They have black and yellow and orange markings. They're rarely aggressive unless you harass them, and they also die after they sting you. Bumblebees do make honey, but you don't consume it like honeybee honey. They're also a solitary bee, therefore they dwell underground and they make holes for their habitat. They can carry 25% or more of their body weight. Also, they're 2 to 4 times more effective as pollinators than honeybees are. Last one is sweet bees. They're native and they're really small and they have a metallic looking color to them. Also, they have these really cute stripes. They're native to North America. They're important pollinators for native plants. They are often found in sandy and disrupt soils in sunny areas. They're very common in the San Juan Islands and they pollinate plants and crops. Their pollination rate is 80% and they visit 5,000 flowers each day. Populations are dropping in general. Here in the San Juans, our biodiversity is rich. When you see a bumblebee, it's a good sign because they're not low maintenance creatures. Bumblebees need native plants, seasonal blooms, and good plant diversity. Also, they're super sensitive to pesticides, therefore showing Orcas isn't using many pesticides. If farmers were, or gardeners, we wouldn't see the prolific population of bumblebees. Growing native plants help continue to support our little fluffy friends, which they can thrive in. One benefit is they survive harsher winters. Also, some native plants are more prolific in pollen, creating more food for the bees. The first plant is yarrow. It blooms late spring to the summer, has a long blooming time. It usually is 6 to 8 weeks. It's drought tolerant, so that's really important, especially when we live in the Pacific Northwest. Also, yarrow flowers are super bright, which attract bees easily. The second plant is Oregon grape. Blooms during the early spring, making it an early nectar source when bees begin to buzz around. Third one is camas. It's a rich nectar source and it provides food when other blooms are scarce. Typically blooms in late spring, April to June. Bees' lifespan generally only lives 4 to 8 weeks. Therefore, each bloom is a lifeline. They may be small, but their impact is massive. From honey on our tables from honeybees to life blooming around us, they keep our world alive. Protecting them means protecting our future.